Hey there folks, meteorologist Hunter McCullough here for Northern News Now. For today's video, we're going to be diving more into the winter forecast, looking at our first frost dates, average anyway, and first average day of seeing some snowfall, at least just very barely measurable snowfall out there. So winter's coming very soon. We just had our cool temperatures, still within our cool temperatures right now throughout the Northland, very fall-like, and we are going to sooner than later be seeing these really cool temperatures returning, snowfall returning. We're in September. Very soon we're going to start to see at least around where our average first snowfall does occur, and we'll be talking more about that here in this video, so enjoy. Hey there folks, meteorologist Hunter McCullough here for Northern News Now. In this episode we're going to talk more about frost dates, talking about snowfall dates, and kind of just some statistics when it comes to starting winter off into our fall here throughout most of the Northland. So first up, let's talk about average first frost dates, which is the average time that we first hit 32 degrees around the Northland. You're going to notice something kind of weird here. So you're going to notice that it doesn't necessarily go in order from the furthest north to the furthest south in the Northland. Hayward's is earlier than Duluth, Grand Marais, and even International Falls. Why would that be? September 2nd is the average first day that Hayward sees frost. Hibbing also, that makes more sense than Hayward, being the earliest on August 29th. Well, a couple of reasons. Microclimates is what this is all about. So what is going on specifically at a location that is causing that to happen meteorologically? And there's a lot of factors that come into play. One that's more obvious than others might be Lake Superior. Lake Superior is a lot warmer than the air surrounding it when we get into the winter months. And so areas like Duluth and Grand Marais, they're going to be warmer than the other areas that are inland, so it takes a little bit longer to get down to 32 degrees on average. September 17th is our average first day on top of the hill of seeing 32 degrees, and that mostly is attributed to Lake Superior. Same story in Grand Marais. Grand Marais, very far up to the north. You'd think that they would see frost pretty early in the season compared to other cities, but no, they're near the lake, so they take a little bit longer to get a little bit cooler. They're very, very stable. Same with the Twin Ports here. We don't get too hot, we don't get too cold. That's because of Lake Superior, at least for most days. There are different extreme cases when winds are out of a different direction that we can see extreme temperatures. But for the most part, Lake Superior helps to regulate those temperatures for us here in Duluth and Grand Marais. Now, that answers that question, the Lake Superior question. The next question, why is Hayward earlier than International Falls? Both are inland cities. International Falls is way further off to the north than Hayward, so why are they around the same? They are only a day apart, but you'd think that Hayward would be way below International Falls when it comes to the earliest frost. And basically, again, with the microclimate, why Hibbing is first, Hibbing is in a lower area. Same story with Hayward. Hayward is in a lower area compared to the surrounding areas. So when we do see those cool nights, we see that cold air pooling down in this kind of bowl-shaped area, both Hibbing and Hayward included in that. And that's why they see such cool temperatures every once in a while. So when we're forecasting for different cities around the Northland and we see it's going to be a cool night, it's going to be a clear night, model guidance is a little bit warmer than what our forecast actually is for Hayward and Hibbing, because we know that because of those microclimates, it actually is probably going to get colder than what model guidance is saying. So let's say model guidance is saying it's probably going to be 34 degrees in Hayward for a low tonight. We're going to look at that and say, well, we've got clear skies, we've got light winds, we're going to see radiational cooling, which is when the heat at the surface radiates out to space. So, you know what, we're going to knock that down a couple degrees. The model guidance is 34. We think it's going to be closer to 31 or 30 degrees. And that's because, again, the microclimates of those areas. Hibbing naturally gets colder than surrounding areas because of its geographical position. Same story with Hayward. International Falls is far off to the north, so that's why they are cool. That makes perfect sense. But then again, Duluth and Grand Marais, well, we are near Lake Superior. First, measurable snow. This means anything that is equal to or above 0.1 inches. Duluth, our earliest that we've ever seen that is September 18th, and that was back in 1991. The earliest here on this chart is International Falls. which was September 14th, 1964. But on average, most of us see our first measurable snowfall late October, early November. Here in Duluth, October 24th is when we see our first measurable snowfall. This does not mean flurries. Flurries can happen earlier than this, but the first time that you can actually put a ruler on the ground and you see that it's at least 0.1 inches or more. And again, Duluth, that average is October 24th. So in this next video, we're going to talk more about, maybe first look at our winter forecast, but not necessarily talking too much about what exactly that is quite yet, but giving an outlook on what we look for when it comes to winter forecasting in our region.